Hey, what's happening, everyone? SirJames coming at you guys with another video, and of course with another haul. I feel like it's been a while since I've actually had a really large haul in general, which I think you guys are gonna like this. It's a little bit of a mix between modern stuff and retro, and I want to show you guys the modern stuff first, which is basically some needed upgrades for my computer, and then afterwards we'll get to the retro stuff and how I got this for pretty good deal, and by good deal meaning a cost of $0 and just a little bit of time out of my day. So starting off with the computer, this is basically some upgrades I've been needing to do, and now that I have everything installed and up and operational, I am happy that I did this, because if I didn't do this, honestly my money would have went towards that limited edition PS4 Pro, the translucent blue. But it's like, you know what, I don't need a PS4 Pro, I have the God of War console. So this is something that's more important, and so I forced myself to do this. Otherwise, I was going to get something that I didn't really need. But this is something that I did need, and it's going to hold for the next few years for sure. But the first one is a motherboard upgrade. This is the Republic of Gamers Strike Z370E Gaming. I'll put a link down below if you guys will want more information, detailed information about this. But this is a huge upgrade from my old motherboard, and what's nice about this is that this gives me room to do any type of necessary upgrades or whatever that I wanted to do with this that I wasn't able to do with the old board. So again, this is going to, it's basically a little bit more future proof for me is what I'm trying to say. So there's that one. And since I was at it, I went ahead and got the Intel Core i7 8th gen. So there is that. Installation was pretty simple. And last but not least, because of the new motherboard, I had to get new RAM cards because my old motherboard was DDR3. This particular board actually supports DDR4, so meaning if you have DDR3, you can't use those cards on there. It even tells you in the book too, so I was like, great, I had to go back to Best Buy and of course get RAM. But this is the one that I got. Corsair, pretty good brand based on the reviews. And so what's nice about the motherboard, actually supports up to 64 gigabytes, which is pretty neat, but also could be pretty expensive just to get that. But for now I have 16 gigs in there, but more than likely I may just run a maximum of 32, or in the future if I could get some good deals, maybe do the whole 64 gigabytes, but we'll have to wait and see. It's kind of up in the air, so I mean, it's not too big of a deal depending on what I do. And that's pretty much it as far as the PC stuff. Now let's go ahead and get to the retro. If you guys notice, right behind me there are 3 boxes. We have a box for the N64, the Sega CD, believe it or not, and of course the Sega Genesis Model 1 to be exact. Now essentially, and again I got more stuff to show you guys over here in just a moment, but long story short is that my dad got this job over in Chino, and apparently this company next door to this housing bought the whole property, and basically what's going to be happening is that they are going to demolish this house and land, flatten it out, even it out, and all that fun stuff, and they're going to be building storage units. And so we went to the place because obviously the owner had moved out basically a year ago, but there was some stuff left over, so me and my dad went there and see what we could potentially save before everything just gets completely demolished. And it was weird because there was 3 particular rooms where there's some leftovers, and the main room, which is where I got the whole gaming stuff, is there was some leftover like trophies and sports cards and things like that. Of course I saved the sports cards, even though I'm not into sports, but some cards could be worth a little bit of value. I don't personally know. And so when I went there on the top shelf, I noticed console boxes, which were those. Now, to go ahead and quickly go over, first off, there is no N64 here, just the box, but the inserts are there, so I can maybe sell that for a little bit of cash. I mean, I'm pretty sure the box doesn't sell for too much, but someone might appreciate that. That thing is pristine condition. The Sega is in there, the Sega CD is in there as well. And it was funny too because this actually has the price tag on it on the top, and the original price tag was $150, so that's pretty expensive from the time. But there's also these tubs in there that's also filled with items. So we also have a NES system. And again, do keep in mind that all the stuff that I'm showing you guys now, it didn't cost me a dime. All I needed to do was basically take some time to go down there with my dad, and we took what we wanted, and that was basically it. But again, this is the NES. It does have all the components and cables. Actually, Duck Hunt is in here. It's just the sing-alone version of Duck Hunt. It doesn't have the Mario and Duck Hunt. And there's a signature, so you know, people writing their names on there. And I did test out the system. It is in working order. And then, of course, in the garage portion was actually a... In the garage was a PlayStation 1 with the old original controller, so it doesn't have the analog stick. So there's two of them in here. It's just a little bit dusty, but for the most part, it's in really good condition as far as the coloration of the system, especially the NES. Is usually some of the old Nintendo systems, they tend to kind of go yellow and all that, but not this one. And I actually have yet to see if there's anything in there. Do keep in mind that this person was mostly into sports stuff, so there's a lot of sports-related games and, sports-related games and accessories. It's also got a zapper, which I did test out. It does make the whole sound effect. The only thing I don't know is like if is it an accurate zapper? Because usually, because I've seen an episode of like the Angry Video Game Nerd where he was showing off some of the NES accessories, and he was talking about how he had 2 different light guns or 3 of them. One of them didn't work at all. One of them, when you're playing again the Duck Hunt, would shoot them in every other order, and then the other one was like the vice versa of that order. So since I don't have a TV that could use this perfectly well, I don't really know if it's mint condition, no issues, or if it's going to have one of those common issues. Let's see, along with the NES, it does have 2 controllers. The Sega Genesis also has 2 controllers with an extension cable. And this is actually complete with the Sega Genesis Model 1 with the Sega CD attachment. So I have never had or seen the Sega CD in person. Now it does have all the cables necessary. However, the only thing that I have to kind of replace is the video cable, because I tried the video cable, I just wasn't getting any, like it was trying to, but I think the cable was just kind of screwed up. So I'm just going to buy a replacement cable to check if it works or not. And more than likely, for the most part, I'm going to be selling most of this, except for, let's see, I'm probably going to be keeping the NES and more than likely selling the PlayStation and all this stuff here, so that way I can get some of the money back that I spent on my computer. But I did plug everything in. This does turn on. It does come with 1 Sega CD game, which I believe is in the other box. Or actually, I think I have it in here. This is the, I think it's called Sewer Shark or something like that. I think it's a sports game. But this does turn on. The disc does spin. This also turns on, but like I said, it's just the whole video signal isn't working. And the other thing too, it's actually got this other attachment, so you can have this down here. So it's all just perfectly even. And I need to place this somewhere before it breaks. And of course, if you didn't know, the Sonic the Hedgehog was in the Sega, because I was trying that out. There's also this right here, a joystick or analog stick, which I'm not sure exactly what this connects to. So it's that type of connection. So whatever uses this, there's this in here. Again, there's going to be a lot of sports games in here. So again, some baseball. And along with the NES is the NES Advantage, which also works. So pretty cool. I remember getting this, but for the NES Mini at GameStop a while back. But it's pretty cool that all this stuff was in here. Like I said, I have another box which we're going to get to in just a moment. Let me try to put some of the stuff back really quick. That way I could utilize the counter space. But again, I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, all the stuff was just left there. And, you know, if I didn't get this, then either someone else was going to take it, it was either going to be donated, or it was just going to get demolished with the house. Okay, so that's box number 1 with all the systems. And here's box number 2 with some games, but a lot of cases too. Like, for example, there's these Nintendo cases. So there's like 1, to... There's 5 of these blue Nintendo cases. And I know there's a lot of people out there that actually would like to have these. So figure out what to do and, you know, maybe see how much they tend to go for online. And then, you know, lower my price. So that way someone can get a little bit of a better deal. At first I saw this bag, I got excited because I thought it had like one of those rare like Nintendo World Championship copies in there. But actually it was not the case. It was just some... which actually has no case in here, but actually does have a sleeve. But this is just a box for WrestleMania. And of course, LJN. So if you've watched the Angry Video Game Nerd, that's a cursed symbol right there. But in here, it seems like they have like the original booklet for the Zapper. And there's just a lot of like manuals in here for like different games. There's even like Rambo. Baseball, Ghost and Goblins. I wish that was in here, but it's not. And the manuals here are actually in really good condition. There's Rampage. Check that out. Instruction booklet. But like again, some really neat stuff in here. So I don't know, maybe I could just bundle this up and maybe sell it for a few dollars or whatever. I don't think manuals go for too much, but anyone who's trying to do like a complete collection and is missing a booklet would maybe find something here. Other than that, there's a lot of empty cases. Unfortunately, I kind of wish all the games were here, but that's not the case. And there's a lot of empty cases for the Sega Genesis. For example, again, a lot of sports-related stuff like hockey, baseball. Actually, I think this one's in here. No, that's just a bunch of booklets. Madden. Again, this person was a big sports guy. Tasmania Devil. This is the one that I have fond memories for, which I remember buying whenever I did like the GameStop retro haul, whatever. I bought a copy of Tasmania Devil, but I bought the wrong one. This is actually the one that I have the most memories with for sure. So at least I got the case. So if I find it loose, boom, I am good to go on that one. But most of the other stuff, I'll probably just, again, maybe find someone who's interested in just the cases. Again, another football one. There's the case for Sonic, so that one is complete. And it has the booklet inside. It actually has a bunch of stuff in here. It was like, no, is this a poster? Welcome to the next level. So this is like a Sega CD booklet here. Actually, no. Okay, so this opens up to some poster, which I don't want to open up right now. And this is another poster as well. So, hey, I'm going to have to open it up later and see what that is about. Let's see, what else is in here? Oh, yeah, there's also a couple cases for Mortal Kombat. Again, no game, but they have the manuals in them. Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 for the Genesis. So if I find them loose, I'll have cases. So I'll keep that, of course. A box for another, again, baseball game. Another football game. Again, just the case, unfortunately. So any games that are in here are going to be loose for the most part. There's even some PS2 games in here too. Again, all sports related, which I'm pretty sure doesn't go for much. So there's those two. There's also, which was kind of odd because I even found Halo 2 out in the garage, but no original Xbox or no other original Xbox games. So it's kind of weird what was left over there. I just don't understand why. I found also some PSP cases. Again, no games in them. NBA Ballers. And then we have FIFA Soccer, Fight Night Round 3, Poker. Again, no games in them whatsoever. Another one, NBA Jam. Let's see, don't worry, we got some games in here, which we'll get to in just a moment, and a couple more empty cases. One for the Midway Arcade Treasures for the PSP and NASCAR. Oh, and Lumos, which I actually do have a copy somewhere. I don't know if it's over there or I have it over here somewhere, but I do have a version of this for the PSP. So again, you know, for the most part, they could just serve as cases, or for anyone who has them loose and needs a case, I mean, I could probably sell them for a couple bucks or something. I mean, again, I don't know what the price these at. And of course, you know, I want to make sure that I don't rip anyone off. So now let's go ahead and get to the actual games for the most part. So we do have The Simpsons Bart's Nightmare for the Super Nintendo, which again, there's no Super Nintendo in here. But actually, I think my cousin has one. And then we have Super Soccer. And it's strange because as far as the PlayStation 1 goes, the PlayStation 1 actually has the games with them. So the first one, which I do have memories with, is Road Rage. And then, of course, hockey. Then we have, again, Madden, NASCAR, and all these are complete games inside and book. Then we have Test Drive, Supercross 98. Then we have the Dukes of Hazzards, a Daisy Duke It Out 2. So that's that for the PlayStation. And there's also this case in here. I thought it was going to be full of CDs. But this just also has a bunch of sports Sega games with, I mean, not Sega. It has a bunch of sports PlayStation 1 games with no cases. And that's it for that. Besides that, there's also some more Sega Genesis games in here. We have, what's the name of this one? This is just says football. I mean, that's a simple version as you can go. And then Sports Talk Football. So just a lot of, again, I could care less about these sports games, but I know there's some people out there that probably will like this stuff. There's even hockey. Actually, I do remember, I did have a hockey one. I think this is the hockey game that I did have back in my childhood days. So this one I'll definitely keep. Then we have another case here. Actually, this one, no, never mind. I thought this had a game in it. NHL 94, just the case. There's power strips in here. There's other things that I do not know what the heck these are. This, I think, goes to the not Super Nintendo, the NES. There's like this weird looking controller-like thing. It's got like a twisty knob and a one button. I mean, you guys could look at that. And this is what, so if you guys know what this is, let me know. And last but not least, besides a bunch of extra cables, there's also this controller in here. And I know this one's for the NES. This is the NES Max Nintendo, which I haven't tested, so I don't know if this actually still works or not. And that is pretty much about it. Like I said, I got the systems that are complete for the most part. They are in working order. The only thing I need is a replacement cable for the Sega Genesis to ensure that works. And that way I can make sure the Sega CD attachment works, because if the Sega CD attachment works, I know that's a little bit, that's worth a bit of money. And seeing as I have the original box in big condition, as far as the boxes go, the Genesis box right here actually just has a slight dent on the bottom. Actually, it's a little bit caved in a little bit based on how it was kind of stored. Actually, I think it fell at one point. But overall, this is actually not too bad of a good deal. And again, the only thing that I spent is just the cost of my PC upgrades. Rest of this stuff, free of charge. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. And let me know if you got anything recently or what games you're looking forward to next month. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.